Welcome to the Community Spotlight, brought to you by Community Publishing in partnership with HD Entertainment. We will be bringing you community-based information and entertainment from your local artists and community members. Community Publishing is dedicated to creating an alternative, independent media outlet. Today, our airwaves are saturated with commercial corporate media companies that often own 4 or 5 media outlets in one city or town. The Community Spotlight is our venue for promoting local artists and community members that are contributing to the vitality of our community. CommunityPublishing.org is our home base. At CommunityPublishing.org, you'll find the Community Spotlight as well as multimedia blog articles from local folks like you and I. You'll also find our multimedia books that support local artists while promoting literacy. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Pinterest. We appreciate your support and thank you for tuning in. Community Publishing, from the community, for the community. Welcome back to the Community Spotlight. I'm here with my first guest, Dan Garduno, a local musician, grower, glassblower. Dan, you're originally from California. Can you talk to us about your...
Yeah, I was born there, raised when I was a child, basically moved out here, I guess when I was like 13 or something, and started playing guitar about 15 years old here and learned into my freshman year and just started writing music around that point, and
Very cool.
from there it's evolved a lot.
And we are going to hear some of your music here today, but talk to me really quick about your influences and how you got into music in the first place.
I would probably give that to my mom. Growing up, I'm listening to vinyl and hearing a lot of like Motown. Growing up with Motown, growing up with the
R&B.
Beatles. Yeah, a lot of R&B, a lot of old music. You know, Beatles, Steve Miller Band, Lionel Richie. You know, things
Right.
like that. And I don't know. I guess I listen to a lot of soul, and so I guess a lot of my music now has a lot of soul.
A lot of soul,
a lot
Marvin Gaye, stuff like that.
Yeah, something, I guess so. But then I also, after a while, I picked up some Bob Marley and got into some reggae and learned about Peter Tosh and got into like Steel Pulse, and so a lot of my music went from like that old soulful stuff, and also I had a days with like Alice in Chains and Metallica
Right.
and Guns N' Roses and like
All that
you know,
stuff
Pearl
from
Jam,
the 90s,
Nirvana.
right? The grunge and stuff that
right.
we
And so
were
it just
growing up on.
all my I don't know, my music is all over the place. When we play, we have a variety of songs, and you know, just it's like a big old mixture of soup,
Yeah.
everything just all in one pot.
Yeah.
You know.
And tell us the name of your band.
Well, currently my band's Element 37. Started that in 2004, right after our band Chronic Logic. We had disbanded and kind of went separate ways in separate states.
And what is Element 37?
Well, on the periodic table, it's rubidium,
Oh.
which the letters are RB, which is pretty cool. Rhythm and blues,
Yeah.
R&B. But the number 37, it's basically followed me.
Right.
The guy who taught me how to blow glass
like numerology,
back in
maybe?
95, he I don't know what it's something. Yeah, I mean I do follow numerology now, but the number itself, I don't know. People follow different numbers,
Right.
444, 1111, 222. Like people have certain numbers that you know are lucky numbers to them, 3, 7,
Right.
10, whatever. So my friend, he told me it's all 37. It's everywhere.
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean, man? He's all, watch. You're gonna start seeing 37. And so that's the guy who taught me how to blow glass back in 95, right out of high school. And
So it's all serendipitous, right? One thing leads to the other, revolving around the number 37.
A huge journey, I guess, where it all is like linked up, and
Right.
it's all now adding up and making sense.
Okay, and so, you know, there's different genres of music, like you were mentioning before. I hate to classify things because, you know, things
Right.
sort of move around and they can go from hip-hop to rock to heavy metal, like really quick. What would you call your music?
Well, Element 37, we have a message where we're trying to just teach consciousness. We're trying to get it out there of, you know, not letting the bullies in the government basically bulldoze over us and
Right.
create laws and change things behind the curtain, through
Mm-hmm.
Congress, and without even allowing us any kind of
Input.
any input or
Yeah.
any the knowledge of what's going on and what they're trying to present and what they're trying to pass. And so I guess our message and our music, we would be classified as like revolutionary rock, or
Right.
but we also have a reggae undertone. So a lot of people call us reggae rock,
Right.
but not every song is reggae, and it's definitely not like your standard. It's not Bob Marley. It's not Still Pulse. It's not.
Right.
I don't know. It's got a little bit more of an edge, a rockiness to it. So
Right. And I noticed in your music, what really stands out for me is there's like this blues kind of passion in your voice and in the music, and so we're gonna hear a clip right now.
Waking up in Oahu, start of a brand new day, surrounded by the ocean side. There's no way you can run away. Why would you wanna leave this paradise? If I had my way, I'd stay. Just sip out my guitar and my pipe, and I promise to make my way. Ooh, I found paradise, catching my first waves. Ooh, the ocean feels so nice, and the clouds are my escape. Waking up in Waikiki.
That was really cool, Dan. I really enjoyed that. Tell us a little bit
Right on,
more about
thank you.
that clip. What was going on?
Well, that was Element 37. That's me and my band. We basically have become the official band here in Albuquerque to represent the March Against Monsanto. And they're basically, going against GMOs and, against trying to get rid of
Genetically modified,
Monsanto,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
A lot of countries have already banned them and removed them out of their country. And I don't understand why we haven't yet. So that's
Right.
what
Well,
March Against
and
Monsanto
that's
is
a really
doing.
good point. Can you let us know a little bit why some people who might not know about GMOs and Monsanto, give us a little background really quick?
All right. Well, Monsanto was created, I believe, in 1908 or 1913, and a lot of people don't even understand they've been around for this long. They're the companies that created Agent Orange. They're the companies that are now producing Roundup, and they're basically trying to get everyone to use their product
Mhm.
to disease their plants. It's basically they're mutating the immune systems of the plants to where
Right.
they can't create their own seeds. You can't grow a seed that's been GMO laden. If it has anything that had to do with the GMOs or Monsanto crops, you can't.
And what is
collect the seed.
their objective? Is to corner the market or create a monopoly?
Well, there's a lot of ideas on what it's about. He who controls the food supply controls the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's all that deep and hardcore. A lot of people believe that it is. It's basically cornering the market, though, and they have patented a seed and are planting next to farms, which then cross-pollinate over their farms, and then they go in and they sue the farmers and basically take their land from them.
Right.
So then they are just taking over land to grow more GMO food.
GMO food. Right.
And it's getting ridiculous. We're also having problems with water now, and with Nestle taking over the water rights and
Right.
selling them to China, like draining the Great Lakes, which not many people know about.
Right. It's like our human rights to food and water and Those are
And
gradually
air
being taken
supply,
away.
like now they're
Right.
taking away our air supply and
Yeah.
chemtrails everywhere.
And I know, you've been an activist for a while. I actually met you, well, I know you from a while ago, but we worked together at the Rail Yards Market, which
Right,
is
right.
also that
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
a great
idea
place.
of bringing people together, local vendors, growers, natural
Right.
stuff that's sourced in New Mexico, and you're a big part of that. And how did you get involved with
Yeah,
that?
well, one of the persons who spearheaded it and helped to get all of it going was Priscilla Garcia, a good friend of mine, and she introduced me or invited me to be her personal assistant, basically, help with running whatever needed to be done. And during that time, I ended up helping out with the trash, and we had a compost bin and recycling bin and a trash bin. And so as we were going and making sure that everything was nice and clean and well kept, I started going through and collecting bottles.
Right.
And basically, I'm all about upcycling and trying to keep my own trash and refuse out of the landfills.
Right.
I've had challenges where let's see if you can go longer than me and not put your trash can out on the curbside for 4 months. I did that for 4 months because I had such minimal trash
Mhm.
that I didn't have to put it out every week. So it was 4 months later, and I would love to see if anyone else could do it, or try to
that's,
live a zero waste
Pretty
lifestyle.
amazing, because when you think
You know?
about how much stuff you put in the dumpster, right? Your average person,
Right. I
you
mean, just
roll it out
junk
to the
mail
street.
alone.
Yeah.
I mean, if you collected all that junk mail
Mhm.
and just had a box set aside for just paper and cardboard, you can put that aside, and then you can turn it into alternative billing. You can upcycle the paper.
Yeah.
Like this block here is actually made out of paper. This is papercrete,
Right.
and it's basically paper that's been shredded, water added to it, so then it turns into a pulp again, and it looks like oatmeal. And
it
then
feels
you mix
pretty
that.
hard.
Yeah, it's lighter than cement, but you don't use the aggregate. You don't use the sand or the rocks to hold it all together. The paper alone, the I guess the fibers
Right.
hold it all together with the
Together.
papercrete. And so this was a first experimental stone that I made at least 4 or 5 years ago, and
How
it's
long
been.
does it take to make something this big? Like the process itself?
Well, I had just a 2x4 block that was actually, maybe twice as long. I had two of these blocks made. One was half as thick, and then two more brick-sized ones.
Right.
And I still have those around. And the thinner one, which is only, maybe a 3/4 inch thick, that one eventually cracked, being it was in like a sinkhole, and so just from stepping on it over time, it eventually cracked, but it
Right.
didn't break apart. It just kind of like had a crack and sunk.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like hemp cement, which a lot of people don't know about hemp cement, or like I'm a huge advocate on hemp and just
Right.
industrial hemp, medicinal hemp. When Governor Johnson was in office, I was with Delta 9 Group, and we ran Hemp TV on Channel 27. We produced a show. We had national ratings.
Wow.
We got into the press box with right next to like Fox News and CNN and C-SPAN, and we had our camera right there with the big old Hemp TV and a big old ganja leaf right in the
Right.
center of it, and just promoting hemp and promoting medicinal use and just everything about that. So
That's awesome, man. And
so that's why I got into papercrete, was because I wanted to start building with hemp cement.
yeah, and that's why I invited you on, because you have so many different dimensions, so many things to offer. Definitely,
A
as
lot of
far
different
as
hats I wear.
yeah, and so you're going to be starting a blog with community publishing,
Right.
communitypublishing.org.
Right,
called
Back to
Back to
Nature.
Nature.